Okay, good morning, everybody, to this press conference of the Federation Global Initiative on Psychiatry with regards to the assessment report on Świętoszynski and Slavyansk. Ой, там с переводом. Дима? Надо подождать. Можно? Ja? 1, 2, 3. Why is this? Раз, два, три. Раз, два, три. Не работает? Раз, два, три. Окей. So once again, welcome to this press conference of the Federation Global Initiative on Psychiatry with regards to the presentation of the assessment report on the Slavyansk and Świętoszynski social care homes. The order is that I will speak first, then Mrs. Trubnikova of the Kiev municipality will speak, then Professor Sir Grem Tornікroфт, and Dovile Jotkaite, lawyer from Lithuania. So, ladies and gentlemen, today's press conference is not an ordinary event. In fact, it's not a press conference, but rather the presentation of a report and announcing the start of a process that will be difficult and long-lasting, but which is long overdue. Today we are here to inform you that the process of reforming the system of social care homes in Ukraine has begun. Today at this table we are together, and this is very symbolic. The Federation Global Initiative on Psychiatry has been working in Ukraine for 28 years, and what we are now embarking upon is possibly the most important and complex project we ever initiated. We are here with a representative of the Kiev City Administration and of the Ministry of Social Affairs, and in the audience representatives of a variety of non-governmental and professional organizations. And although we might have different opinions on a lot of things, today we are here with one united view. The system of social care homes in Ukraine is out of date and needs to be transformed into a network of services that better meets the needs of persons who need extra care because of a mental illness or mental disability. The system of social care homes in Ukraine, like in most of the other former Soviet republics, is an outdated remnant of the Soviet past. Despite the fact that most people working in the system are generally trying to take care of their patients, of their clients, the system as such is restrictive and paternalistic, leads to inhuman conditions, results in human rights violations, and is in violation of the international agreements and conventions that Ukraine signed up to, such as the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. Over the past years, our organization has repeatedly monitored the situation in social care homes in the country, and it will be no surprise that many human rights violations were recorded. We all know these violations take place, in some places more than in others, and in fact we all understand what the origins of these violations are. However, instead of constantly noting that things are wrong, we believe it is far more important to look what can be done to change the situation and to embark on a road that eventually will lead to the type of services that meet international standards and allow people to be part of society to the maximum of their ability. Because in the end, our work is to serve the people who need our help, the vulnerable members of society who have the right to be equal, to be among us, but who need the extra help to be able to do so. The process of transformation is a very long one. Let there be no doubt about this. And it's not a revolution. It's an evolution that will meet many obstacles, not only administrative ones, but also human ones. Relatives who are afraid they will wind up with the burden of taking care of their ill or disabled relatives without the necessary support mechanisms. Personnel that fears changes and that it will lead to loss of jobs. A society that is not ready to accept people with mental illness or mental disability into its midst, and rather have them locked up in institutions. All these fears and anxieties will have to be met and dealt with, and all of them are genuine, they are real, and they are very important. However, today we can announce that we have agreed to start on this very difficult road. The report today is the first. It's still rudimentary, but it's the first blueprint of what we want to do. It concerns 2 social care homes where we want to work. One is the social care home in Slavyansk, Donetsk Oblast, and the other is the social care home Sviatoshinsky here in Kiev. The report outlines the problems that we face and proposes for the way out of the current predicament. These are not the only institutions where we will work, but they will be among the pilots where, together with our Ukrainian counterparts and together with the personnel, together with the relatives, and also together with the clients, we will develop alternative services step by step as a joint effort in which the rights and interests of all stakeholders will be taken into account. We all understand the system has to change, and we all understand it will be difficult, it will be long, and it will be a bumpy road. But we all know that the road has to be taken because there is no other way. And so we start, and that's why this presentation is such a significant moment. I would now like to give the floor to Ms. Olga Trubnikova of the City Administration for Social Affairs.
Доброго дня, шановні колеги. В першу чергу я хочу висловити подяку Роберту та його колегам за ту ініціативу та зацікавленість в трансформуванні Святошинського психоневрологічного інтернату. Дійсно, ця реформа є на часі. І після візиту у травні Роберта та його колег Департаментом соціальної політики Київської міської державної адміністрації було підписано меморандум про співпрацю з Міжнародним фондом, який представляє Роберт Ван Ворен. Хочу сказати, що наразі в нас тривають пошукові дискусії щодо концепції та плану трансформування даного психоневрологічного інтернату. І для того, щоб забезпечити максимально прозорий цей процес, зробити його з врахування всіх стейкхолдерів, тобто опікунів, персоналу, всіх зацікавлених сторін, ми найближчим часом будемо проводити такі семінари, такі стратегічні сесії із залученням усіх до цього процесу. Роберт вже сказав, що так, це тривалий процес, і якщо Європа вже, його, скажімо так, пройшла, це тривало кілька десятиліть, то ми це тільки починаємо. Ми це розуміємо, це буде складно. Хочу сказати, що для цього Департаментом соціальної політики в цьому році створено науково-експертну раду, де ми з питань розвитку соціальних послуг для людей з психічними розладами та людей похилого віку, де ми зібрали кращих вітчизняних та міжнародних експертів, в тому числі ми запросили Роберта до цієї ради, для того, щоб цей процес супроводжувався також з експертної, з наукової точки зору. Повертаючись до самої оцінки, яка була проведена, оціночного візиту, який був проведений у травні, хочу сказати, що якщо Святошинський психоневрологічний інтернат, якщо брати просто базовий стаціонарний догляд, він є одним з найкращих. Але ми усвідомлюємо і розуміємо, що цього наразі замало, і це вже не відповідає сучасним реаліям, вимогам, міжнародним стандартам. Тому дійсно потребує посилення реабілітаційна складова роботи, розширення спектру видів щоденної зайнятості і, що саме важливо, впровадження диференційованого підходу до різних осіб з різними діагнозами. І як ми вважаємо, що наша мета – це створення умов, які б забезпечували максимальну автономність, самостійність для тих підопічних, діагнози яких дозволяють їх соціально адаптувати та соціально інтегрувати. Хочу відразу, щоб зняти якісь такі питання чи побоювання, сказати, що ця реформа не передбачає закриття даного закладу. Вона передбачає його трансформацію, поліпшення якості соціальних послуг, підвищення якості життя людей, які в ньому мешкають. Хочу сказати, що Київська міська влада це усвідомлює. Ми вже розпочали цей процес в інших інтернатних закладах. Зокрема, з міського бюджету в цьому році вже виділено кошти на створення будинку підтриманого проживання в Київському пансіонаті ветеранів праці та Святошинському дитячому будинку-інтернату для хлопчиків. І я дуже сподіваюся на нашу плідну, результативну роботу щодо Святошинського психоневрологічного інтернату. І сподіваюся, що це буде така цеглинка для поширення цього досвіду на інші інтернати, і в Україні загалом, я так сподіваюся. Дякую.
Спасибо большое, Ольга. Я сейчас хочу дать слово профессору Сер Грем Торнікрофт из Лондона, председатель исполком глобальной инициативы по психиатрии.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First, I would like to introduce myself to you. I work as a psychiatrist in London, and I've worked in community mental health teams for the last 30 years. I'm also a professor at King's College London, and I do research about services in the community. I also work with the World Health Organization, for example, producing guidelines for treatment of people with mental illness, and I'm the chairman of the board of the Federation for the Global Initiative in Psychiatry. First of all, let me thank the organizers very much for allowing me to contribute to this meeting. We're launching today a very important report that we hope will have a powerful and beneficial effect to assist the 41,000 people, adults living in social care homes, and the 6,000 children also living in social care homes. What are we proposing? This is a fundamental transformation designed to improve the quality of life, the citizenship, and the social inclusion of these people. We're planning to, step by step, support many of these people to be able to move into the community and to live normal lives with their full rights and to have their everyday activities respected, just as for all of us. This is a normalization process. Why are we proposing this? Because at the moment, these many thousands of people are excluded from society. Indeed, many of these people have not been outside these care homes for years, and in some cases for decades. Not able to use money, never having gone to shops or normal facilities for most, if not all, of their adult lives. We're promoting these plans to fully be in accordance with international conventions, such as the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, and to respect the human rights of these people as we all expect our own human rights to be honoured. We want to see greater contact for these people who have been isolated for so long with their friends and their family. We want, as far as possible, to do everything that can be done to actively promote the recovery and the social inclusion of so many people. How can this be done? Well, I myself have been involved with these processes in my own country and in several other countries around the world. I think this should not be done very fast, because one needs to be careful to be sure that the new services are safe and secure and sustainable. It means starting by assessing the needs, individual needs of people in these homes one by one, to understand their capabilities, to promote their everyday activities, to help people who have not cooked a meal in years to learn or to relearn to do that again. It means involving many stakeholders in the whole process, actively asking the patients, each individual patient, what is important in life for him or her. Talking with family members about if and how they want to reconnect with their family members and their loved ones. It means discussing with communities their views about opening up supported accommodation and housing nearby. And it means actively dealing with the probable stigma that we will meet as we go into that process, which I have done in England many times, needing to talk and talk and talk to people in the community about why this is a better model of care and what it's designed to achieve, a better quality of life for these people and more social inclusion. Change can provoke anxiety. It can provoke anxiety for the family, who may feel that they will be dumped or dropped with so much responsibility with no support. This has to be done carefully by negotiation, and if families become involved, with enough training, education, support in the long term. Change can also produce anxiety for staff. Just as residents become institutionalized, so staff working in institutions also become routinized and institutionalized as well. And one has to pay particular attention to the training, support, supervision needs of staff, especially in the first year or two of a transition, when people begin to work in the community but may feel unsure or isolated. So the support of staff as they face some uncertainties is also an important part of the overall picture. What are the benefits of this process? The evidence from many studies now where community service has been developed over time is that it produces for the large majority of people in the institutions a better quality of life, sees their human rights better respected, it reduces stigma, and people are then able to live everyday lives, going to the shops, going to the market, choosing which television station to watch, having their own privacy, perhaps their own spaces in which to guard their valuable things. It's clear that this move, this transformation, is fully aligned with the evidence that is accumulated from around the world towards having community and hospital care, a mixture or a balance of the two. It's clear that the government is taking a very wise step now in moving this direction. It's clear that this is the preference of the large majority of residents and patients in these institutions, and it's a direction, this transformation, which I fully support. So now is the time for action. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Graham. Вот сейчас хочу давать слово Довиле Йоткайте, президент Lithuanian Disability Forum. Довиле.
Спасибо большое. Я буду говорить на английском, потому что мне легче так говорить. So thank you very much first of all, for Robert and his initiatives and working in Ukraine on this particularly very important issue. We are also working in Lithuania with regards to the institutionalization processes, and it's really a very, very difficult and long way to go. My mission here is maybe again to remind Ukraine as a democratic state its obligations with regards to international documents, human rights documents. It was mentioned not once already that United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities was adopted in 2006, and on the international scale introduced key paradigm shift and changes in attitudes towards persons with disabilities worldwide. Convention was the response of the international community to the long history of discrimination, exclusion, and dehumanization of persons with disabilities. Persons with disabilities were and still are primarily viewed as objects of welfare or medical treatment rather than holders of rights. So Convention did not recognize any new human rights, but established a universal minimum standards and obligations and legal duties of the states to respect and ensure the equal enjoyment of all the same fundamental rights for all persons with disabilities. Ukraine is one of 177 countries. Remember this number, 177 countries in the world has ratified the convention already and promised, first of all, to the international community, but foremost importantly to its own citizens with disabilities, to promote, protect, and ensure the full and equal enjoyment of all human rights by all persons with disabilities, and to promote respect for their dignity. Ratification of the convention is not only the paperwork. To implement requirements put forward by the convention, the state should take all appropriate measures to modify or abolish existing laws, regulations, customs, and practices that constitute discrimination against persons with disabilities. But the responsibility is not only on the government or on the governmental authorities, it's also transformed to all public or private institutions, professional, specialist, and service providers, including social care homes, since they all are requested to act in conformity with the convention. Institutionalization of persons with disabilities, so existing of long residential social care homes that we visited during our numerous monitoring visits, it's one of the example of one of such practices which is not compatible with Article 19 of the Convention. Article 19 of the Convention recognizes equal rights of all persons with disabilities to live in the community with opportunity to choose their place of residence and not to be obliged to live in a particular living arrangements, as well as having access to a range of in-home, residential, and other community support services as alternatives to the institutional care. So Article 19 requires states to reform their institutional care system and provide alternative community services to meet support needs of persons with disabilities. It is understandable that institutional care system reform or deinstitutionalization process will not be implemented in a short period of time, but there should be clear and strategic steps taken in starting new community services in order to gradually decrease the numbers of people being sent to institution and support those in the community. During our monitoring visits in the internet, we revealed and we saw not only prolonged practices of institutionalization of persons with disabilities, but also quite a heavy human rights violations in those residential institutions. Almost all of the rights included in the convention are mostly impossible to realize for persons with psychosocial disabilities living in the institutions, since they are under special regimes such as legal incapacitation, daily rules having no privacy, no choice, no respect for their physical nor mental integrity of the persons, no possibilities of free movement, access to education, employment, or any other rights in general. As far as adequate standard of living or social protection conditions, they are also very, very basic, as you mentioned, and it's not adequate. So as long as such institutions remain, understanding that institution will not be closed and reorganized so quickly, it is of extreme importance that the constant monitoring of human rights situations of persons with disabilities in institutions would be carried out, but also steps taken to change the care, change the quality of care in those institutions. So as Graham already mentioned, individual assessments and individual needs approach should be taken. Respect for human dignity, respect for personal will and preferences, capacity building of institutional administration and staff in human rights approach, respecting the personal dignity, personal attitudes of all the residents, and also empowering and capacity building of the residents themselves to understand their rights, to feel empowered and to feel respected. It should be mentioned that reforming of existing system of residential social care and security rights of persons with disabilities in Ukraine is necessary, taking into account all recommendations provided already by the international human rights bodies. Ukraine was reviewed by the CRPD, or Committee on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, in 2015. The committee has issued concluding observation on the initial report of Ukraine on 2nd of October 2015, assessing the current situation of the implementation of the convention and giving particular recommendations related to institutionalization of persons with disabilities. So the committee urges Ukraine to adopt measures for deinstitutionalization and to allocate sufficient resources for the development of support services in local community. The committee strongly recommends to adopt a human rights-based approach to disability to educate and raise awareness on the rights of persons with disabilities. And finally, the committee requests the state party to implement those recommendations and to report on its actions taken by 2020 on overall implementation of the convention and protection of individual rights of persons with disabilities. So we need to start now. First of all, to respect and to support our own citizens, and secondly, to give a proper implementation of international obligations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Довіля. Вот сейчас есть 15 минут, по-моему, для вопросов. У кого-то есть? Можно на русском, английском, украинском. Глузман.
Спасибо. Я не совсем далек от работает. Не совсем далек от всего, что здесь сегодня говорилось, но тем не менее, поскольку здесь есть не только мы, а еще и журналисты, и люди, которые относятся не безучастно к тому, что происходит, я хочу сравнить происходящее здесь с тем скандалом, который происходит вокруг Днепровской больницы специальной. Здесь нет скандала, и это очень хорошо, на мой взгляд. И это связано с тем, что все-таки эксперты, которые здесь находятся, и другие, которые ездили по интернатам, они благожелательно относящиеся к Украине люди, и они не ставят перед собой цель напакостить, наказать, унизить. Что на самом деле имеется в том скандале, который происходит вокруг спецбольницы бывшей. Потому что там работает совершенно другое ведомство, Министерство здравоохранения, которое, по-видимому, как мы понимаем, не умеет себя иначе вести. Я из общения, это не вопрос, но я хочу это сказать. Из общения с родственниками психиатрических пациентов, которые находятся в интернатах, особенно в Киевском, а они где-то лет 15-17 начали ко мне ходить, жаловаться на известного человека. У них были конкретные очень заявления, и там были серьезные нарушения, как я понимаю, но это были слова, никто ничего не проверял. Что я хочу сказать, что любые изменения, которые мы будем начинать, должны начинаться с первого и главного, работы с родственниками. Они напуганы. Уже вчера ко мне подходили двое, я не знаю их фамилии, людей, дети которых, по-видимому, или сестры находятся в этом святошинском интернате. И я понимаю, они не все говорят вслух, но там читается все. Их напугали, что будут закрывать интернаты, а вместо интернатов будут открывать какие-то платные коммерческие структуры. Кто это им сказал, я не знаю. Я понимаю, что не журналисты и не мы, психиатры, а кто-то другой. Если мы не объясним этим людям многочисленным, что никто ничего плохого не хочет, то они будут с другой стороны, и они будут мешать, и у нас ничего не получится. Вот это главное, что я хотел сказать.
Дякую, Семене Фішелевичу, за ваш коментар. І коментар порада, і він абсолютно вірний. Ми це приймаємо, і, як я вже казала в своїй доповіді, наша співпраця з групою експертів і передбачає вже 10-11 жовтня ми проводимо такий семінар пошуковий, на який буде запрошуватися і персонал, представники інтернату, я думаю, що мешканці інтернату, і самі опікуни, тобто члени сімей, для того, щоб спільно напрацювати цей план трансформації. Ми це усвідомлюємо. Хочу відразу спростувати ті чутки про те, що інтернат закривається, що там будуть якісь комерційні структури. Це не відповідає дійсності. Я офіційно це заявляю. Звідки ці пішли чутки? Ну, це не департамент соціальної політики, це не адміністрація. Такого в планах немає. Хочу сказати, що вже попередньо департамент проводив зустріч з ініціативною групою опікунів. Сподіваюся, що ми трошки їх заспокоїли. Є представники, які брали участь в цій зустрічі. І ми надалі будемо продовжувати цю роботу і намагатимося максимально забезпечити, щоб цей процес був максимально прозорий. Дякую.
Maybe I can add a few words. I think any reform process that does not include all stakeholders is doomed. The most complicated part of the group of stakeholders are those whose relatives are in the social care homes and who are afraid that they will be left with a burden that they cannot manage, and the personnel that is working in the social care homes. And so this will be our prime target in order to try to involve them in the process and to create a sense of ownership of the process as such. This is going to be a hell of a job, but it's not the first time we did this. I can give you one example. We have been working for more than 10 years in Sri Lanka in the female institution of Muliarava, which is outside Colombo, the capital, where 770 women were locked up for the rest of their lives, some of them for 30, 40 years. And step by step, we started contacting the family and trying to help the family to understand that it is possible to take relatives back and that there are support mechanisms in place to help them to manage this. And for some of the women who could not go back home, we rented houses around the hospital where they live in groups of 6. Some of them have jobs, they go to the market, they do their own cooking, but the staff of the hospital supervises. And for the rest, in the departments of the hospital, we build kitchens in the wards, in the departments. Because, for 2 reasons. One was the central kitchen was run by males who used the women as prostitutes in the village. And the second is, by cooking yourself, by taking care of your own department, by decorating it the way you want, the women created their own living environment. And if you now go to that hospital, it's, of course, it's not a luxury hotel, but the quality of life of the women in the institution is completely different than it was when we started 10 years earlier. So it is possible, but you really need to listen to everybody and to take their worries into account because they're genuine. Есть ли какие-то другие вопросы? Или замечания? Raya.
Sorry, I'm late. I've been to this internat for many times, for many years, because I was taking my students to the internat. And I remember the phrase of the former Deputy Minister of Social Policy, Mr. Dyachenko, who said, even if you close your eyes, you will feel that you are inside the internat because of the smell. My message is to look wider and to see what is going around in the whole area of the social policy around the people who cannot care of themselves and who have mental health diagnoses and who do need external support for their whole life. First of all, I just ask you to pay your attention to the fact that in Kiev 2 new internats had been opened even after the Convention on the Rights, UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability was ratified. 2 new internats. So new money were invested into the development of the institutional system, not into the investment of the system of community-based support, which is, well, the fact which is evident about the policy. And right now, discussed is the amendments to the state standards of daycare. Because in Ukraine there are social services, including daycare services. And we know that internats will not be improved and the system will have no balance, of which Sir Graham told yesterday, there's going to be no balance if new services are not developed. So, at the moment, discussed are the amendments, the suggested amendments to the daycare, to the social standard of daycare services. And among the amendments, there are 2 discriminational things which would, to my mind, narrow down the approach, the access to the services. The first one is that excluded would be those potential clients who, according to the court solutions, get involuntary psychiatry treatment. So they would have no right to daycare services. That's one thing. And another thing is that those clients, potential clients, who got governmental financial support, whose guardianships get governmental support for care. We have this state support for care equaling to minimum life expenses. But in this regard, there's 178 hours in a week. Imagine that 56 hours these clients are in the sleeping condition. Yeah? Then the guardians will have to take care for 122 hours. Well, the constitution, our Ukrainian constitution, says that the working week is 40 hours. So it is discriminational towards the caregivers. And I would just appeal to Robert that we do need this day-to-day expert support in such minor, so to say, minor things which determine access to those social services which would establish the balance which is necessary in Ukraine and which is very much limited at the moment. Thank you.
So thank you very much for your comment. The GIP monitoring group went to Świętokrzyskie a few months ago for a monitoring visit. And the staff we met there told us that the residents are severely and permanently disabled and can never expect recovery and need lifelong institutional care. Now that is not consistent with the international evidence. It's certainly not consistent with my own experience. The starting point is to assess every individual for what they're able to do now, but also able to learn. Because people living in these institutions have two problems. The first is the mental condition, maybe schizophrenia, which might interfere with memory or concentration. The second is the effects of institutionalization. If you have never had an opportunity to cook for 20 years, you cannot cook. You have no practice and no experience. So you have to distinguish these two things. And as Robert said, for example, build kitchens where people can practice and learn and exercise those skills. And then you find that people have skills in a spectrum. Some, maybe not very many, but some people in such institutions can go on to fully independent living in their own apartments. And a few at the other end of the spectrum are very seriously disabled because of their mental illness and will need long-term high support, maybe hospital, maybe a high-supported residential placement. But most people are in the middle and can live in groups where they share the skills, maybe have staff visiting, sometimes staff living in the homes, the group homes as well. But it means identifying the capacity of every individual to live life to the full and to engage in the normal activities as far as humanly possible.
Також хочу, дякую за коментар, також хочу дати зі свого боку коментар, вибачте за тавтологію. Вже ця теза звучала від кількох експертів протягом цієї прес-конференції, і я її хочу також повторити, що реформа не робиться отак от швидко в один щелчок. Справа в тому, що ця система, вона формувалась кілька десятиліть при радянській системі. І наразі, на жаль, ми не можемо просто закрити інституційні заклади та інтернати, тому що ще не створена та інфраструктура амбулаторної допомоги, денних центрів. І наразі якраз той час, коли цей курс, це розуміння і ця стратегія, вона такий як крен, такий, знаєте, повертається в іншу сторону. І знову ж таки, ми над цим працюємо, ми це починаємо. І, зараз сказати, що ми щось не закриваємо, я думаю, що не можемо ми цього наразі зробити, тому що цих людей, які потребують цього догляду стаціонарного поки що і іншого, ми просто у нас немає що альтернативу запропонувати. Разом з тим, знову ж повторюсь, ми над цим працюємо. Ви знаєте, що Департамент соціальної політики наразі в рамках соціального замовлення намагається закуповувати ці послуги у громадських організацій, і на наступний, і причому пріоритет у нас дійсно це особи з інвалідністю, і на наступні роки ми також ще додали пріоритет, це особи з психічними розладами, і на наступний рік фінансування збільшується удвічі, і до 2020 року воно буде збільшено втричі, а можливо по ходу ми будемо ще додавати. І при цьому хочу зазначити, що ця робота має, звісно, тут має бути поєднання із центральними, в співпраці з центральними органами влади, тому що має бути створена певна нормативна база під нові типи догляду для таких осіб. Тому поки що ми співпрацюємо з громадськими організаціями. Я сподіваюся, що в нас випрацюється така вже достатня і, скажімо так, ґрунтовна нормативна база для того, щоб це, можливо, створювати як комунальні заклади в певних чином. Тому що я хочу сказати, я бачу ваш скепсис, але хочу сказати, насправді, у міста є кошти, але небагато громадських організацій, які можуть запропонувати нам цю послуги. Тобто, ми не створюємо, це паралельні процеси. Ми за розвиток громадських організацій. Ви знаєте, що ми підтримуємо і щороку збільшуємо фінансування. Ніхто не збирається, щоб ви загинули. Ми навпаки зацікавлені в вашому розвитку. Тому що насправді є запит, але в нас недостатня пропозиція. Я можу просто для прикладу привести, що наразі, з нашої статистики, близько 1000 дітей з важкою інвалідністю потребує денного догляду. І лише ми дослідили ринок громадських організацій, лише організації можуть забезпечити цим лише 100 дітей. Розумієте? Тобто
черный рынок.
Рая, извините, нам надо, потому что зал будет нужен другой пресс-конференции, я должен закрыть. Нам уже звонят, что надо выйти. Извините. Спасибо вам.